Every time she pulls away, you move closer. Every time her replies become colder, you try harder to create warmth. Every time she becomes uncertain, you begin proving why she should choose you. You send another message. You explain your intentions. You become more available. You lower your standards because losing part of her feels less frightening than losing her completely. You call it fighting for love, but beneath all that effort is a fear you do not want to admit. You are afraid that if you stop chasing, the connection will disappear, and that fear has made you forget something important. A relationship that survives only because you keep running after it is not being held together by mutual love. It is being carried by your fear of letting go. So stop chasing her, not to manipulate her, not to punish her with silence, not to make her jealous or force her to wonder where you went. Stop because you cannot become the man she deeply respects while behaving like your entire value depends on whether she chooses you. The man she cannot easily replace is not the man who sends the most messages. He is not the man who spends the most money. He is not the man who agrees with everything, accepts every excuse, and remains available regardless of how he is treated. He is the man whose presence has substance. He listens without losing his voice. He cares without abandoning his standards. He's emotionally open without becoming emotionally dependent. He brings peace without becoming passive. He has direction without treating love like a distraction. And if someone repeatedly refuses to value what he offers, he can walk away without becoming cruel. That combination is rare. But hear the truth before your ego turns this into another technique. No man is literally impossible to replace. A woman can leave you, she can meet someone else, she can decide that another relationship fits her future better. Becoming stronger does not guarantee that a particular woman will return, remain loyal, or regret losing you. The goal is not to trap someone emotionally. The goal is to build a character in life so valuable that you no longer have to chase reluctant attention. If she recognizes that value, good. If she does not, the value still belongs to you. And before this video ends, you will understand why chasing usually creates more distance, what makes a man emotionally memorable, and exactly what to do when she becomes cold, inconsistent, or uncertain. You will also learn the mistake men make when a woman finally comes toward them again. It is the mistake that destroys the very qualities that made her reconsider them. First, understand what chasing actually is. Chasing is not showing interest. It is not sending the first message. It is not planning a date. It is not apologizing when you made a mistake. It is not making an honest attempt to save a relationship that both people still want. Chasing begins when the effort stops being mutual, but you keep increasing yours. She stops initiating, so you initiate more. She repeatedly cancels, so you keep offering new dates. She says she is uncertain, so you present arguments for why she should love you. She ignores a respectful message, so you send another one from a different emotional angle. She tells you she needs space, but your anxiety convinces you that space will make her forget you. You are no longer expressing interest, you are negotiating against her lack of interest. And every time you negotiate, you teach yourself that her approval is more valuable than your dignity. Imagine that you invite her to meet. She says she is busy. That alone means very little. People have responsibilities. A grounded man says, "No problem. Let me know when you know your schedule." Then he returns to his life. If she is interested, she can suggest another time. The chasing man cannot tolerate the uncertainty. What about Friday? She says she is not sure. What about Sunday? She says she will let him know. 2 days later, he sends another message asking whether she decided. He believes persistence proves confidence, but confidence does not need to drag clarity out of someone. Confidence offers an opportunity and watches what the other person does with it. If she wants to see you, her behavior will eventually contribute to making that happen. If you must carry every interaction, the problem is not that she has forgotten your value. The problem is that you are refusing to accept the information her effort is giving you. That acceptance is where chasing ends. You stop trying to convert uncertainty into commitment. You stop acting as though the perfect sentence can create feelings another person does not currently have. You allow people to reveal their level of interest, then you respond to reality instead of responding to your fear. That is the first quality of a man who cannot easily be replaced. He does not need to force participation. He understands that attraction offered freely is valuable. Attraction extracted through pressure is temporary, he would rather face a painful truth than live inside comforting confusion. The second quality is that he has an identity outside the relationship. Many men meet a woman while living a full life. They train, they work, they have goals, they spend time with friends, they have plans that existed before she arrived. That independence is part of what makes them attractive. Then they become emotionally attached and slowly abandon the very life that made them interesting. They skip training whenever she becomes available. They stop protecting work hours. They become less ambitious. They answer every message immediately, even when doing something important. Their friendships fade, their routine disappears. Every free moment becomes focused on the relationship. At first, this may look like devotion, but eventually she notices that the man she met has stopped leading himself. His mood now depends on her mood. His confidence depends on her affection. His schedule depends on her availability. His sense of purpose depends on whether the relationship feels secure. The relationship becomes responsible for supporting an entire identity. That creates pressure. A woman may want to be loved. She does not want to become the only reason you wake up with direction. The unforgettable man does not neglect the relationship. He makes time, he is present, he invests, but he does not demolish his life to make room for her. He understands that love should add depth to his identity, not replace it. He keeps training because his health matters. He keeps working because his future matters. He protects friendships because isolation makes emotional dependence stronger. He keeps learning because stagnation weakens self respect. He brings a full life into the relationship. And because he continues living, he continues bringing new energy, stories, experiences, and growth into the connection. That does not mean pretending to be busy. Do not delay replies as a technique. Do not ignore her while secretly watching the phone. Do not invent plans to make yourself appear important. Build a real life. The point is not to look occupied. The point is to become genuinely engaged with responsibilities and goals that matter. A performance eventually becomes obvious. A real identity changes the way you move. You stop treating every change in her energy like an emergency because your entire emotional world is not contained inside one conversation. The third quality is emotional steadiness. Some men believe being irreplaceable means becoming mysterious, distant, and impossible to read. They hide their feelings, they refuse vulnerable conversations, they become cold whenever they sense emotional risk. That is not strength, that is fear hiding behind control. Other men express every emotion immediately. A delayed reply becomes a confrontation. A quiet evening becomes evidence that she is losing interest. A disagreement becomes a crisis. They seek reassurance before understanding what is actually happening. Neither extreme creates safety. The emotionally steady man can feel deeply without becoming controlled by every feeling. He can say, "That bothered me," without attacking. He can say, "I need clarity," without demanding an immediate answer. He can admit that he cares without begging another person to stay. He can experience jealousy without turning jealousy into accusations. He can feel rejected without trying to damage the person who rejected him. That steadiness becomes memorable because relationships eventually face pressure. Attraction is easy when everything feels new. Character becomes visible when plans fail. Emotions rise and two people misunderstand each other. Suppose she says something that feels disrespectful. The unstable man reacts instantly. He raises his voice. He sends a cruel message. He threatens to leave. Then, when the anger passes, he apologizes desperately because he fears he pushed her away. The avoidant man says nothing. He becomes distant. He makes her guess what happened. He uses silence as punishment. The steady man addresses it directly. "When you said that, I felt disrespected. I want us to discuss disagreements without speaking to each other that way." He does not attack her character. He addresses the behavior. If the conversation becomes destructive, he can pause it. But he returns when he says he will. That is important. Taking space is healthy when it protects the conversation. Disappearing is unhealthy when it is designed to create anxiety. The man she cannot easily replace is not the man who never becomes emotional. He is the man whose emotion does not destroy his integrity. His anger does not make him abusive. His fear does not make him controlling. His love does not make him weak. His pain does not turn him into someone he cannot respect. The fourth quality is genuine presence. You can give someone hours of attention and still never make them feel understood. You can constantly talk while rarely listening. You can compliment her appearance every day without noticing what is happening beneath it. A memorable man pays attention. He notices the difference between the words she says and the emotion she is struggling to express. He remembers details. He asks thoughtful questions. When she speaks about a difficult day, he does not immediately interrupt with advice. He may ask, "Do you want help solving this, or do you need me to listen?" That question communicates something deeper than a generic compliment. It tells her that he cares about how she experiences the moment. But listening does not mean agreeing with everything. A man who agrees because he fears conflict is not emotionally present. He is performing acceptance. Real presence includes honesty. You can understand her perspective while still having your own. You can say, "I understand why you felt that way, but I experienced the situation differently." You can validate an emotion without accepting an unfair accusation. You can support her without becoming her therapist. You can care about her problems while expecting space for your own. The connection must remain mutual. Some men try to become irreplaceable by becoming endlessly useful. They solve every problem, pay every expense, answer every late night call, provide unlimited reassurance. They believe that if a woman needs them enough, she will never leave. But being needed is not the same as being loved. She may need your support. She may rely on your stability. She may enjoy your attention. But if the relationship exists only because you keep solving her life, you are not building mutual intimacy, you are building dependence. A healthy connection allows both people to give, both people listen, both people initiate, both people support, both people take responsibility. The unforgettable man does not prove his value by carrying another adult. He creates a relationship where each person becomes stronger without losing personal responsibility. The fifth quality is consistency. Anybody can create a powerful first impression. Anybody can become romantic for 1 week. Anybody can promise transformation when they fear losing someone. But character is revealed through repetition. Do you do what you say? Do you keep plans? Do you communicate when something changes? Do you behave respectfully after the excitement becomes familiar? Can she trust your word when you are tired, irritated, or disappointed? The man she remembers is not always the man who created the biggest moment. Often it is the man whose behavior made everyday life feel secure. He said he would call, and he called. He made a promise, and he followed through. He remained affectionate after he knew she was attached. He did not stop making an effort once the chase ended. He did not become a different person every time his mood changed. His values were predictable even when life was not. Consistency does not mean becoming boring. You can be spontaneous while remaining dependable. You can surprise her without creating instability. You can have an adventurous life while keeping your word. The important distinction is this: excitement changes the emotional temperature, consistency determines whether the connection can survive. A woman may remember an exciting man, but she can build trust with a dependable one. The strongest man carries both energy and reliability. He can create memorable experiences, but his character does not require constant entertainment. The sixth quality is self respect expressed through boundaries. You do not become irreplaceable by accepting everything. You become easier to take for granted. A boundary is not an angry speech. It is not threatening to leave every time you feel uncomfortable. It is not telling another person what they are allowed to do. A boundary is a decision about what you will participate in. If she repeatedly cancels plans without respect for your time, you communicate once. I understand that things happen, but repeated last minute cancellations do not work for me. Then you watch her behavior. You do not spend 2 hours convincing her that your time matters. If the pattern continues, you stop making plans. Your actions complete the boundary. If she says she wants to explore other options, you do not remain emotionally available while she decides. You can say, "I respect your choice, but I am not going to stay in a triangle." Then you step away. No competition, no insults, no attempt to prove that you are better than another man. Self respect means you can want someone and still refuse a situation that diminishes you. You can love her and still leave confusion. You can miss her and still refuse disrespect. You can forgive an apology without immediately restoring trust. This is what many men struggle to do. Their standards exist only until attachment becomes strong. Then fear begins negotiating. They say they will never accept dishonesty, then they discover dishonesty and begin searching for excuses. They say they need reciprocity, then they carry the entire relationship because they fear being alone. They say they will walk away from disrespect, then one affectionate message makes them forget the pattern. Every broken boundary weakens self trust. You teach yourself that your own decisions mean nothing when emotions become intense. The man she cannot easily replace is trusted by himself first. When he makes a difficult decision, loneliness does not immediately undo it. His standards are not weapons, they are structure. They protect the quality of connection he is willing to build. The seventh quality is direction. You do not need to be wealthy. You do not need to have completed every goal. You do not need to pretend that uncertainty never enters your mind. Direct means you are deliberately moving. You know what you are building. Your actions reflect priorities. You do not wait for life to become easier before developing discipline. You have work that matters, a skill you are improving, responsibilities you handle, a vision greater than receiving another person's attention. Dark Drick changes your energy. You stop approaching women as though they are the missing purpose in your life. You approach relationships as a man who already has a path and wants a compatible partner beside him. This makes you more selective. You stop asking only, does she want me? You begin asking, are we aligned? Does she communicate? Does she respect my direction? Can we support each other without losing ourselves? Does being together improve both lives? That is a major psychological shift. The chasing man only wants to be chosen. The grounded man also chooses. He does not view every attractive woman as an opportunity he must secure. He observes character values, consistency, emotional maturity. He understands that attraction alone cannot create a peaceful relationship. And because he is willing to choose carefully, he stops begging incompatible people to stay. The eighth quality is the courage to remain kind. Many hurt men confuse coldness with strength. They believe the solution to chasing is pretending not to care. They stop complimenting, stop communicating, stop being generous. They create anxiety intentionally. They think that if a woman never feels fully secure, she will continue pursuing them. That may create emotional intensity. It does not create healthy love. The goal is not to become unavailable, it is to become available with standards. You can tell her she looks beautiful, you can express affection, you can plan something thoughtful, you can admit that she matters. You do not lose power by being sincere. You lose yourself when sincerity becomes begging for a specific response. Secure affection says, I appreciate you. Fearful affection says, please reassure me that you still choose me. The words may sound similar. The emotional energy is completely different. A grounded man can give affection without keeping score. But he also notices whether affection, effort, and care move in both directions. If he is always giving and she is always receiving, he does not give more in the hope that quantity will create reciprocity. He addresses the imbalance. Then he responds to what happens. Kindness with judgment is strength. Kindness without judgment becomes vulnerability to being used. Judgment without kindness becomes emotional isolation. Carry both. Now imagine a man named Daniel. When Daniel first met the woman he wanted, he was focused and confident. He had work he cared about. He trained regularly. He made clear plans. He listened when she spoke. He expressed interest without pressuring her. The relationship developed naturally. Then Daniel became afraid. He noticed that her replies were becoming slower. Instead of observing the pattern, he panicked. He began checking on her repeatedly. He asked whether she was losing interest. She said she was stressed and needed time. He tried to help by becoming more available. He stopped focusing on work. He sent long messages. He apologized for problems she had not clearly explained. He became afraid to disagree because every disagreement felt like another step toward losing her. Eventually, she said, you are not the same man I met. Daniel felt angry. He had changed because he loved her, but the truth was harder. He had not become more loving, he had become less grounded. Fear had replaced confidence. Approval had replaced direction. Chasing had replaced connection. When she finally asked for space, Daniel wanted to fight the decision. Instead, he did something different. He said, I care about you, but I can see that I have been trying to force closeness. I am going to respect this space, return my attention to my own life. Then he followed through. He did not post another woman. He did not send indirect messages. He did not become silent while secretly checking her page every hour. He returned to work, returned to training, reconnected with friends, examined the insecurity that had changed his behavior. At first, everything still felt connected to her. Every workout felt like something he hoped she would notice. Every productive day felt like a future message to the woman who left. Then he recognized that he was still chasing mentally. So he changed the reason. He trained because his body needed discipline. He worked because his future needed progress. He developed emotional control because he never wanted fear to direct his behavior again. Whether she returned or not, he needed to become trustworthy to himself. That is the transformation, not disappearing until she misses you, becoming a man who no longer disappears from his own life whenever he becomes emotionally attached. Maybe she notices. Maybe she contacts you. Maybe she never does. Your development cannot depend on the ending you prefer. Now, what should you do when she pulls away? First, do not immediately invent a story. A slower reply does not always mean lost attraction. A stressful week does not always mean another man. People have complex lives. Ask once if the change is meaningful. You seem a little distant. Is something going on? Then listen. If she communicates, have a mature conversation. If she says she needs time, respect it. Do not ask the same question repeatedly because the answer did not calm your anxiety. Second, stop overfunctioning. Do not increase your effort to compensate for her decreasing effort. Continue being respectful, but allow her investment to become visible. You cannot determine whether she wants the connection while doing all the work. Third, protect your routine. Keep training. Keep working. Keep sleeping properly. Do not sit beside the phone. Do not let one uncertain relationship consume the energy required to build the rest of your life. Fourth, decide your standard. How long are you willing to remain in unclear communication? What level of effort do you require? Do not create an artificial deadline designed to frighten her. God create a personal boundary that protects you from indefinite uncertainty, then live by it. Now, there will be a late night moment when chasing feels irresistible. You've been calm throughout the day, then the room becomes quiet. You remember the warm version of her. You see that she is online. You start imagining that she is waiting for you to reach out. You type something casual. Hey, how have you been? The message looks harmless, but beneath it may be a hidden request. Please reassure me that I still matter. Please tell me the distance is temporary. Please remove the uncertainty I cannot tolerate. Before sending it, ask yourself one question. Would I still send this if I knew she might not reply? If the answer is no, you may not be communicating. You may be seeking emotional medicine, and relief borrowed from her response will disappear the next time her behavior changes. Put the phone down, walk, route what you feel privately. Pray if faith is part of your life, let's lead before deciding. The emotional wave will rise, then it will fall. You do not have to obey every feeling. You can miss her without chasing. You can care without losing your routine. You can want another chance without begging for it. You can accept uncertainty without abandoning your dignity. That is emotional control. Here is your 7 day reset. For 7 days, do not pursue unclear interest. Do not send a second message when the first respectful message remains unanswered. Do not check her stories for hidden meanings. Do not ask mutual friends what she is doing. Do not post something designed to create jealousy. Do not make major emotional decisions after midnight. Do not cancel important responsibilities because she suddenly becomes available. Use those 7 days to rebuild the foundation. On the first day, examine the pattern honestly. Where did you start chasing? What changed inside you? What were you afraid would happen if you stopped? Write the answers without blaming her for everything and without blaming yourself for everything. On the second day, rebuild physical discipline, train, walk, eat properly, sleep. Your body carries emotional stress. Movement gives that stress somewhere constructive to go. On the third day, return to your work. Choose one task you have delayed because you were distracted by the relationship. Finish it. Progress outside romance reminds you that your future is still moving. On the fourth day, protect your attention. Mute profiles you compulsively check. Reduce screen time. Stop giving every post authority over your emotional state. You cannot lead your life while allowing an algorithm to repeatedly reopen the wound. On the fifth day, define your standards, clear communication, mutual effort, respect, consistency, emotional availability, honesty. Then define your own responsibilities. You must communicate too. You must remain consistent too. You must respect boundaries too. Standards are not only requirements for another person, they are behavior you must model. On the sixth day, reconnect with something that existed before her, a friend, a goal, a skill, a family responsibility, a part of your identity that became smaller while the relationship became larger. On the seventh day, choose one promise to keep for 30 days, a training schedule, a work block, a sleep routine, a financial goal, a rule against checking her profile, then keep it. Confidence is created when your actions teach you that your own word can be trusted. This reset is not designed to make her chase. It is designed to stop you from chasing yourself out of your own life. Now, what if she returns? Maybe you stop pursuing, weeks pass, then her name appears. Hey, do not treat one message like proof that everything has changed. Respond naturally. Hey, hope you're doing well, then let her contribute. Do not immediately explain how much you missed her. Do not ask whether she wants to get back together. Do not carry the conversation because you fear she may disappear again. If she says, I miss you, you can say, I appreciate your honesty. What made you reach out? If she says, I have been thinking about us, you can say, I've reflected too. What are you hoping happens now? Those questions are not tactics. They separate emotion from intention. She may miss your attention. She may feel lonely. She may dislike the idea that you are moving forward. She may genuinely regret losing the relationship. Time and continued behavior reveal the difference. If she wants another chance, move slowly. Ask what changed. Discuss why the relationship became one sided. Take responsibility for your part. Do not accept responsibility for everything simply because you fear losing the opportunity. Watch whether she communicates consistently. Does she initiate? Does she follow through? Does she respect your time? Does she remain invested after she knows you still care? Trust should grow at the speed of evidence, not at the speed of relief. This is where many men destroy their progress. They spend weeks rebuilding, then she contacts them, and within one day, every boundary disappears. They stop training, cancel plans, become available at every hour, start reassuring her constantly. The stronger version of them disappears because fear of losing her returns. Do not abandon yourself when she comes back. Your life remains, your routine remains, your standards remain, your warmth remains too. Do not punish her or make her beg. The goal is not reversing the power imbalance so you can become the one who controls everything. The goal is creating balance. Two people choosing each other clearly, two people contributing, two people communicating instead of testing. If that cannot happen, walking away remains the healthier decision. And what if she never returns? Then the work still matters. You become more disciplined, emotionally stable, purposeful to selective, dependable. You become more capable of recognizing mutual interest and leaving unclear situations earlier. You become ready for a woman who does not require months of chasing before offering basic effort. That is not failure. Failure would be remaining emotionally trapped because one person did not recognize what you could become. Do not become bitter. Do not decide all women want emotionally unavailable men. Do not punish the next woman with coldness because this woman became distant. Do not hide your interest as a strategy. Healthy women do not require confusion to remain attracted. The lesson is not never pursue. The lesson is never continue pursuing where genuine reciprocity is absent. Show interest, be clear, make an effort, then observe whether effort returns. Love requires vulnerability, but vulnerability does not require self abandonment. So stop chasing her. Stop trying to prove your value to someone who has enough information to make a choice. Stop treating her uncertainty like a challenge you must defeat. Stop lowering your standards because silence frightens you. Stop believing that another message will create the clarity her behavior refuses to provide. Become the man she cannot easily replace, a man with direction, a man whose word means something, a man who listens, a man who communicates, a man who can remain steady under pressure, a man whose kindness has judgment, a man whose standards do not disappear when he becomes attached, a man who loves deeply but refuses to lose himself. She may recognize that man. She may compare others to him. She may return, or she may continue in another direction, but you will no longer be chasing behind her, trying to convince her that your life has value. You will be living that value. Because the deepest truth is this: the man she cannot replace is not the man who makes her dependent on him. He is the man whose presence was honest, peaceful, purposeful, and difficult to imitate. But even more importantly, he is the man who finally became someone he could not afford to abandon. Do not chase her, build him.